Hey tribe, welcome back to my channel. So today's setting is a little bit different. I will be pulling cards and I'll be showing those cards to you, but I'll be probably looking around as I read them. That's usually what I do. That's why most of the times you see my table instead of me, but today I wanted a change. So if anyone will be complaining in the comment section that you don't see the layout of the cards, this is not one of those videos. Plenty of them on my channel if you are in need of one of those. Let's get into your piles. I'm going to insert a picture somewhere here of all the options. So for pile number 1, we have a stone. For pile number 2, we have a shell. And for pile number 3, we have a key. So choose yours and let's see what is happening the next week and a half for you all. I'll see you in timestamps. Hey pile number 1 people, whoever has chosen the rose quartz, let's get into it. I'm gonna first use the El Goliath deck and see what is coming through here. Straight away from a get-go, what I'm seeing a child riding a bike, but it doesn't feel like this is someone else. It feels like this is a representation of you. So next week and a half, you may find yourself being a little bit more creative if you have not repressed your inner child. Some people might be doing some work on your inner child. Some people may find themselves looking at their memories. Like, I'm looking back at the memories, what I used to love, what I used to be good at, what I was curious about when I was a child. And it feels like it's going to be taking you towards some sort of either resolution, an idea, or a spark. Let's see. Pile number 1. Pile number 1. What's up next week and a half? The first card that we have is this awesome freaking Hierophant card. Take a good look at this. Now, what is interesting here in how this Hierophant is represented is that he or she has the energy, its entity, right? It has the eyes at the back of its head. So for a lot of you, again, there's something to do with, I want to look back. Either the lessons I've had in the past and the wisdom I've taken from those lessons and experiences. Either some of you are doing some sort of shamanic work, you're diving into esoteric stuff, maybe spirituality here, to find an answer. It feels very deep. It feels like some of you are doing the shadow work. Some of you are in need for a deeper understanding of the self. It's going to be quite intense, what I'm sensing here. And it's directly, I'm sensing, correlated to the self-love. Why was I neglecting that part of myself for so long? Next week, I am going to bring it up. So you may even have a conversation with someone about who you truly are deep down, especially if you are hiding a part of yourself. The simplest example I can give you here would be someone who, for example, is interested in esoteric stuff. Say you're a witch and you are hiding that part of yourself in front of other people because you thought that, hey, I'm not going to be understood, I'm not going to be accepted. One thing that you got to do for yourself is to accept yourself. You are the one who's supposed to accept yourself. And it might be a difficult thing for some of you, depending where you're from and what kind of culture you come from. But there is no one else that you need to ask for permission from to be yourself. Everyone is walking their own paths. So you better walk yours authentically. Okay? That's what's coming through here. Let's see. Main energy is quite strong here. I'm going to be using the Super Lunaris deck in case anyone will be asking. Pile 1, what is up next week and a half? You may be drawn to darker things. That's where the answers lie. In my shadow part of self, I'm pulling the answers, and therefore I see the light. It's a very interesting vibe that I'm getting here. You may be drawn to seeking, if you are not a mystic, you may be drawn to seeking for wisdom, advice from someone who tends to be interested or good at either shamanism, witchcraft. They know how to work with energies and how to direct them. If this is you, it feels like you're gonna get quite strong downloads, either about your environment or about yourself. We've got the Two of Wands. We've got the Star. We have the Knight of Wands. You have the Ten of Wands. You have the World. It came through reversed and I felt like I wanted to keep it reversed, so I will read it in reversal. We have the Two of Swords. It also came through as reversed and we'll keep it as reversed. Now next week we're gonna have, bottom of the deck we have Temperance. Next week we're gonna have what we are seeing here. You're looking at your struggles. You're looking at your struggles, something that makes you feel that you are either oppressed, makes you feel heavy, makes your body feel weak or overworked or restricted in some way. And because you're recognizing that, you're able to make decisions to get out of that state or to change the way of living. Now, whatever responsibilities you have placed on yourself, you're recognizing that some of those you're doing just to do them. It's a very weird thing that I'm getting here. I'm just doing it because I think I have to do that. But in reality, looking at your spread, you don't. You convinced yourself that you have to do it that way. Either there is something wrong with a structure or technique or your routine, because you're not working smart but hard. That's what kind of vibe I'm getting here. Especially someone who tends to care for everyone else and then puts themselves in the back seat. You're gonna recognize that you're doing that the next week we're gonna have, because something's gonna happen where you will feel either very frustrated, very low energetically, or you're just overworked. Yes, I care for everyone else. See, we have that heart over here. I think that by me taking everyone else's responsibilities, doing things on my own, I'm actually loving others. But in reality, then, you don't leave any love for yourself. So who are we really if we don't take the time to get to know ourselves? Because if there is no love, we cannot dive deeper. And since we have the world card next to it that is reversed, I feel like a lot of you are ending this cycle. For now, you may not recognize what it is just yet. You might think that, I feel like I've gotten rid of a lot of things that I thought I had to do, or I have learned how not to put myself in the back seat, but I feel like something is gonna come up that may test you again the next week. And you're gonna have a chance to show yourself that you've learned from it and you're not going to make the same mistake again. Also, there is one person coming through here in your reading who, let me just clarify, who sees you as a star. So either you are visible online or they just feel like they don't have an access to you for some reason. Who is this person? This is someone that you know of already. This is not a new person. There was a time when you either shut them down or you intentionally shut the door on them. Who's this? We have the Queen of Wands. We have the Magician. This is the person who, whenever they see something that they want, they're gonna do anything to get it. That's what kind of vibe we have. And they may be coming through with a gift or with suggestion. They're basically gonna say something or do something that they know that you like. But looking at these cards, I don't really trust this person. I feel like they're coming through because they need you for some reason, but they were not there when you needed them, or they did something in the past that wasn't something that friends would do. And I don't feel like you're friends with this person. I feel like maybe you were involved more intimately with them. They're very curious to see how you're doing, and they would want to get to know you again, because maybe the time has passed and they feel like they do not know you as much as Eight of Wands. Expect for a message. It's gonna come out of the blue. They feel like they've lost you in some way. What is your advice here, Pile 1? What is your advice here? This is an interesting one. What is your advice here? Do not rush into either responding to this person or making a decision. Sleep on it. Sleep on it. Maybe you are used to responding really quickly to this person. This can also be a family member, for example. They need something from you and they know that they can rely on you, but they don't really take enough time to check in on you. But whenever they need something from you, they expect a very quick answer. So that's why I don't like this energy. I don't trust it. It's like whenever I need you, I want you to be there. But when you need me, I'm kind of busy now. That type of vibe. Stand your ground and do not be thrown off of balance, because in order for us to be thrown off of balance or influenced by someone, we have to allow it in the first place. Nothing happens without our permission. Yeah, this is definitely someone who has hurt you before. So just a warning coming through here, someone coming from the past. I'm hearing like a ghost. So maybe someone has ghosted you, or maybe you ghosted them. I don't know what's the situation here. What else do we need to know about this Hierophant? Since you have the Hierophant as the main card here for the next week and a half, you will be able to see through people's bullshit. Okay, so I'm not really worried about you here. I see you have your eyes at the back of your head and you're like, okay, come show me who you are. What's up? We have the Eight of Pentacles. You're very focused on your craft. You're very focused on your craft. You're very focused on your spirituality here. Yeah, and there's something shifting to maybe your routine, maybe your tactics, structure in your workplace. And you elevate and you're growing. You're elevating and you're growing. But you are going to go back to the past. It's like I'm rushing now to express myself. You're going to be going back to the past to pick something up, some sort of a tool that you had when you were younger. Okay? You had when you were younger. That is going to somehow change your outlook on your work or change the way you see things. In your art, in your craft, in your technique even. and it feels to be beneficial for you guys, pile number 1. So if you feel like you are quite nostalgic, you want to go back to the past memories, look at your maybe old pictures when you were a kid. I'm specifically seeing someone discovering a picture where they're building something, they're doing something that is artistic. It helped them to express themselves. I'm seeing a child curious about one specific thing, and it will spark an idea in you, or it will give you a really, what's the word I'm looking for? And the wind is crazy outside, and I don't know if you can hear it. A boost. It's gonna give you a boost, okay? Especially connected to your work or your art, okay? I hope this made sense. This was an interesting one, to say the least. And let me know if this made sense to you, and I'm going to catch you in the next one. Bye for now. Hey pile 2 people, whoever has chosen a shell, let's get into it. So the first deck that I'm using is the El Goliath deck. I might be looking around, I might be spaced out. Usually when I read, I'm looking out at the window. It's that's why I don't record myself very often, because I'm spaced out in the reads. So let's go. Pile number 2s. We have the 9 of Wands, the darkness before dawn. A lot of people are going to find themselves, especially in this deck, the way it's represented here. We see a light coming through over there and a bit over here. Those who felt that you had to protect, guard your heart at all costs in one particular situation, or maybe overall in life, I feel like you're starting to open up next week, week and a half. Or maybe this is someone else that is going to be in close proximity to you. Let's see. Pile number 2. What is happening next week, week and a half? We have the Fool. So what the Fool does, the Fool says, you know what, pack my bag quite lightly. Fuck it, I made a decision, I'm going for it. The Fool does not overthink. And it seems like you are doing something that might seem to you that's a bit out of the blue, but you've been, throughout all this time, I'm sensing you were being prepared for this moment of a Fool. You kept being afraid of something, or you kept thinking that if I do this, it's gonna be quite dangerous to me, or if I do that, your fears would start creeping up. But what's happening the next week, you are saying enough is enough. I cannot do this to myself anymore, because I think that those nine of Wands is actually like a protection wall, but in reality it was keeping the light away from me. And the view that I could have had if I didn't have this wall of Wands would have been much more beautiful. I only from now on going to build this wall if in a distance I see that there is some sort of threat. But if there is nothing and it's quite beautiful out there, why do I keep this up? Why do I keep this up when I don't see the reason to? I hope this is making sense. You have the 10 of Cups, the joyous sky. So what we are seeing here coming out on the other side. I kept thinking this reminds me of an overprotective parent. where they think that they're actually protecting their child, but they're instilling a lot of fears in them. And once they grow up, they're not able to make their own decisions because those decisions were made for them. They are afraid of a lot of things because their parent was telling them be careful way too many times. They were kind of dumping their fears onto their child. And now what we have someone who is jumpy. You know, when people go like in random situations. And I think now translate how this ties into your life. In what particular maybe scenario you felt this way. Or maybe you yourself had an overprotective parent, or you are one. And what you're seeing now, you're seeing that sometimes just doing something without overthinking it, trying new things, is something that brings you quite a lot of joy that you are not letting into your life before. So it feels like your mantra next week and a half. Fuck it, let's do it, see how it goes. I cannot stress about it without trying it, because there's nothing to be stressing about from a get-go. There is no reason for me to be stressing about it. Something is bringing you quite a lot of joy here, and if I had to be specific here, I'd say, example, someone calls you up and says, hey, do you want to go skiing, for example, and you are, I never tried it before, I'm kind of scared of it, I don't know what to expect, I'm scared because I don't know what's out there, right? I don't know how it's gonna go, and you go, you know what, I told myself that I'm going to start trying new things, or I'm gonna have maybe a bucket list, and one of them was making my fears my bitch. Okay, like your vibe, even I'm picking it up here, you're like, let's freaking go. The way you talk, I can feel it. And you go and you try it, and you say, you know what, this was the best thing that happened in the past 3 years, because I kept guarding myself for so long that I wasn't trying new things. We only get old once we stop trying new things, regardless of our age, right? Let's go. Let's see, what is this 10 of Cups about, more specifically? What is this 10 of Cups about? We have the 7 of Pentacles, the rewarded frog. So your reward is your happiness because you're not afraid anymore. And I'm getting specifically, maybe someone wanted to change a job or start their own business or try something that at first they thought they maybe are not going to be good at. But what your cards are saying, it takes time for us to get good at things. It takes time, like with everything. You know what this reminded me of? Ed Sheeran's interview, when someone said, but you are so talented, and he goes, no, I'm not. I worked on my voice to get to this point. And then he takes out a phone and he goes, do you want me to play how I used to sing before when I was younger? And he plays it, and he himself is like, during that time, downing red wine because it's embarrassing for him. And everyone was super surprised because they're like, damn, you sound nothing like your old version of self. So that's what I'm getting for pile number 2. You are putting in work in order to be successful at something, because you know that you have to be the one who goes out there and claims what is yours. See, if you look at this image right here, there's a bit of competition happening, right? That frog, if you want to say, she's stealing the food from the plant. She doesn't give a flying F. She's like, listen, it's plenty out there. Look at how many flies we got. you're already full. You have all of, well, some of them are still working on it, but all of those flowers are closed off already. You have your mouth full. So why don't I get there and help you out a little bit? Both winning. Both are winning at the same time. Let's see. What else? Let's see. I want to use the in-between tarot in case anyone will be asking. What is up the next week and a half? Do not hide in the shadows. That's where your power lies, number 2s. It's not about, next week is not about being shy to ask a question. It's not about being, overly reserved. No one sees you, no one hears you. Next week is all about getting out there and getting shit done, getting what you want. Because you know that no one else will do that for you. You're the one who wants that and you're gonna go and get it. So kudos. Look what fell out of a deck. We have the Page of Wands. I did it. I'm celebrating myself now. I graduated. This feels like a graduation of a phase of life. Okay? This deck is quite different from any other decks because we have an image of the 2 cards in between. That's why it's called in between tarot. It's in between the Page of Wands and the Knight of Wands. So we have it on a side right here. The Knight of Wands. And someone can see your progression. It feels like someone is observing you succeeding at something, feeling happy. So maybe you're celebrating with someone. Maybe you're gonna call someone up and say, I've done it. I did it. It feels like there is a breakthrough happening the next week and a half. I did what I always said I'm going to do. I did not give up. And now look at me. We have the 3 of Cups here. Yeah, that's why I was picking up the celebration here. But in this deck, it's quite different. Look at what is happening here. We have a couple laying down. Right here, we have a child in the background. It feels like you are in the presence of someone who dearly cherishes you. Very sweet vibes I'm getting here. Someone who wants to celebrate your successes. Someone who sometimes even is happier about something good that has happened to you than you yourself. When you call them up and you go, for example, I got a new job, and they start shouting and screaming in the phone because that's how honestly happy they are about you. That's what kind of connection I'm seeing that you are focused on the next week and a half. I also want to say, you're going to notice for some of you that there was one particular person in your life that roots for you more than you thought they're rooting for you. If I had to give you an example, say there is a friend of a friend in your circle, and let's continue with that example. You got your job, the job that you've always sought out for. And your best friend calls you up. They say, oh my God, congratulations, I'm so happy. And then out of the blue, you get a phone call from that friend of a friend that you're not that close with. And they go, oh my God, dude, I'm so freaking happy for you. Say, John told me about you getting this job, and I've always seen how much you wanted that. And you go, oh my God, thank you so much, damn. Then you hang up the phone and you think about it. I didn't think that this person was as invested in me as they actually are. This is pretty sweet of them. And you start bonding a stronger relationship, start bonding over the situation, and it leads to a stronger relationship between you two. This is a sweet vibes. I love that for you. Okay, let's see. What else? I'll show you the cards in a minute. Guys, you're quite successful in your work. next week and a half, and I'm seeing this as something that I'm picking up. It's a collective vibe. People are focused on their creations, on their jobs, on what it is that they wanted to achieve. The Queen of Wands in this deck, it feels like she's looking at the plans, right? Well, she's over that stage now. She has already built a model and she's looking at it as if she's contemplating, as if she's looking at the spaces. She's kind of reviewing her projects. So a lot of you may feel quite creative the next week and a half. Oh, we have the Eight of Swords and the Eight of Cups next to one another. Those who felt that you are bound by your mind and you were restricted in some way because you were telling yourself things that maybe were not necessarily true, it feels like you're feeling much more peaceful. You're getting an insight. And that insight, because I'm seeing an eagle above, and that insight taps you out of that frozen state, I want to say. I'm frozen. You know when sometimes people get scared, they get frozen. Here, something happens where you change that. Because Eight of Cups is like, sayonara, I'm not doing this anymore. Let's see, what is going to trigger this? A different mindset. Oh damn, we have the Wheel of Fortune. Look at this Wheel of Fortune in this deck. It's in between the Wheel of Fortune and Justice. It's as if you are that eagle and you're able to see what is happening on the ground. You have this kind of helicopter view on your life. Okay? Because we are seeing right here, in that sword, we have a reflection of you walking. There might be a situation where you sit, say, on a couch, chilling, drinking tea, and you suddenly are able to see yourself from above and to see your life as an outsider. And everything falls into places. Any doubts that you had, any questions that you were asking yourself over and over and over again, you get an insight, and it's going to be pretty important here, what I'm getting. Let's see what else. I'm hearing, for pile 2, there is this vibe. I suddenly know what I need to do. And there's a realization coming. Specifically, if you felt that you had to obey or you had to do things that made you feel somehow inauthentic. That's not something that I signed up for, but I have to do it because maybe I need resources. I'm only doing this for money, but I don't agree with this. For example, if you work for a big corporation, there's loads of injustices happening there, yeah? So that's what kind of example I have. The Four of Coins in this deck. You see what's happening here? I'm able to see my life now. And I'm able to know what I need to do next in order to achieve this. Achieve what I want. Some of you may have doubts about your jobs or your careers. Some of you may be thinking about maybe a completely different field because some of you feel like you're not in your own shoes. And therefore, that's why the next week and a half is going to be quite important. You're realizing that, and now you know that I have to take some sort of action if I don't want to be there anymore, right? Or if I want to change my life around. And you're taking steps. So I hope that this made sense, pile number 2. Quite an interesting vibe, to say the least. Let me know if this made sense to you, and I'm going to catch you in the next one. Thanks for being here. Bye. Hey, pile number 3 people, whoever has chosen this key, let's see. We're going to start with El Goliath deck. Let me just put one deck to the side. Let's see, let's get it. Pile number 3. I might be looking around because that's how I read. That is why I don't often come on camera when I do reads, because I'm tapped out. We have the Page of Wands and we have the Sacred Heart. This Page of Wands is called the Moonscaped Messenger. The Sacred Heart is the heart and soul of Goliath. Now, this is an interesting one because it feels like next week we're gonna have someone is seeking for deep relationships. Now, it doesn't have to be romantic only. It can be friendships too, or maybe relationships with your family. I want to deepen the connection that I have with one particular person. I want to explore what kind of passions we both have. I want you to tell me what matters to you. I want you to know what matters to me. I want both of us to know our dark and light sides. That's how we truly know one another. That's how we can build a strong bond. So if we're not asking questions that hit the heart, and if we're not open to answering them, so that then what kind of relationship do we truly have? If we're talking about just superficial things, or when I ask you how your day has been and you say good, that's not something that I want. I want you to actually tell me how your day was, and I want you to actually listen to me when I tell you how my day was. That's what kind of vibe we are getting here. Whew. I want to use the Texture Tarot to continue your read, in case anyone will be asking. Let's go. What's up the next week we're gonna have? Yeah, it's like you're filtering people out. If you don't want to build deeper relationship, I am not in it. Okay, if I'm showing you my heart and you go kind of looking like that, and you go, okay, I don't know what I want to do this, like, I am not signing up for flaky. That is your vibe. That is your vibe. I don't want this then. We have the Three of Wands. We have the Page of Cups. We have the Two of Wands. Damn. Okay. We have the Five of Swords. In this deck, doesn't it remind you of a Fool card? Yeah, a little bit. We have the Ace of Pentacles. Oosh. You have the Wheel of Fortune. What a vibe, pile 3. And we have the Five of Pentacles. Okay. Bottom of the deck, the Eight of Pentacles. Now, this is collective message. It went throughout the pile 1, 2, and 3. For a lot of people, next week, week and a half will be quite good for focusing on your craft, or whatever it is that you love doing, or reflecting on your job. Do you like where you are? Do you feel like you want to earn more? If you feel like you want to upgrade yourself career-wise, what do we need to do next? Next week, week and a half is quite good for contemplation when it comes to your craft, work, seeking for more, taking steps in order to get it, okay? Now, there's a bit of a different story here, what we're seeing with these cards. The Three of Wands, Page of Cups, Two of Wands, Five of Swords, Ace of Pentacles, the Wheel, and the Five of Pentacles. Next week, you're looking at your life specifically at one situation. I'm not going to tell you what it is because there are so many people, so many scenarios. But you're like, okay, this is my canvas. This is my life. There is something that I want to explore deeper. There is something that I want to take. I need to make a decision in order to get it. In order to get it, I have to be curious and to put myself out there. To put myself out there into the world. I recognize that. I cannot isolate myself in order to get this. And you are making a decision. There is something that you recognize and that is pulling you backwards. See the chain over here in one of those wands? You are tied to something, but I'm not really sure that you want to be tied to something anymore. Because what you want to do is you want to go to that bird that you see right in front of you. We don't know what's happening over here. See, this reminds me of those Insta pictures where people hanging off the cliff and it seems like they're so high up. But in reality, if you take a different angle for that picture, there is ground right here underneath. So you're making a decision to get rid of something that is pulling you back in order for you to set yourself free. This card screams freedom for me. I'll do whatever it takes. I might be conflicted, 5 of Swords. I might be conflicted. There might be some sort of argument happening because I made this decision. Someone might not be happy about it, but I very clearly know what I want to take. And deep down, I feel intuitively that that's gonna put me on a track that brings me quite a lot of luck. Yeah, I might have a bit of grief that I've lost something that I had, but I am refusing to have something in my life in order to allow this new thing to come in. So it's a bittersweet moment for me, and I clearly understand that. Say, let me give you an example. Someone who wants to move. I clearly understand that in order for me to move, I'm gonna have to leave this environment. With this environment, I'm leaving this and that and that. But my goal is to move somewhere else in order to gain this. So I have to let something else go in order to get that thing. So say that house that I lived in, I really loved the living area, right? I love the living room. But now I'm gonna have my dream bathroom that I always wanted. Yeah, simple example. And that's something that I need right now. The living room is not my priority right now. The bathroom is, so why don't I adjust to what I need right now? Instead of craving for something and not making a decision. So I'm gonna go and get what I want. This was just an example. You gotta have to translate this in your head, what that means to you. But let's continue. Let me have a sip of coffee. Let's see. What is up the next week we're gonna have? We have the King of Swords, the Father of the Night. Again, looking at these cards, let me pull that Five of Swords again. Look, there is some sort of hunting situation happening here in both of these cards. Unapologetically. See, some may say, oh my God, this is cruel. This is how nature works. Life is cruel in general, if you look around, right? So that's what kind of vibe you have. You're like, okay, I want to eat. That mouse or that bird might be cute, but I gotta eat. This is survival. So maybe some of you are literally in some sort of survival situation where you feel very depleted of something, and you go, you know what, I'm not going to be in the survival mode anymore, so I gotta make a decision. I gotta make a decision. I gotta go and hunt. There's quite a lot of wisdom the next week and a half that you are gaining from purposely seeking for something, actively seeking for something. You're gonna have a very impactful experience. You're not sugarcoating your words. Your vibe next week and a half, it is what it is. It is what it is. I said what I said. Maybe you're dealing with someone who is very sensitive or weak. It's not that you are trying to offend someone. That's not the case. You may say something to the other person. They take it to maybe personally, and you don't mean it at all. You might deal with someone who's a bit of a snowflake. And we have a lot of them lately, right? Where we're being even shut down if we talk about deep, dark things. But life, it's an interesting thing actually. Look at what is happening in the world now. Things are more fucked up than before, right? It just keep like more chaos keeps coming in. But what's interesting is that the more shit goes down, the more people are being shut down when it comes to their self-expression, their voice. When people actually want to talk about what's fucked up in the world, YouTube goes, nope, you can't talk about it, right? So it's a very weird situation that we have happening in the world now. And I feel like this is somehow important for the next week and a half. You may want to talk about something that is not easy to hear, but it is what it is. Let's not sugarcoat things. This is not helping us to live in the illusion world. That's what I'm seeing here. Either you are saying to someone or someone is saying to you. And therefore, we're able... Someone is being grounded. Someone is being grounded by the truth. Someone wants to stop living in this world of illusions because it's not helpful anymore. I kept thinking about it. I kept trying to, brush it off. If it's not happening in front of me, I don't want to see it. And then boom, something happens and you go, I cannot ignore this anymore. And that's where the wisdom lies, in seeing things for what they are. Look, this is a really beautiful, pretty owl, right? Shitloads of wisdom in her eyes. The whole universe lies there. It's beautiful. There's a light and a dark sides to them. Right? I wouldn't say this is a dark side, but just I'm looking at these cards as yin and yang. And we have the fire and we have the air. I am able to be both of these things. Without the light and the dark, without one of them, I would probably not survive. And someone is viewing this side of one person or maybe a situation as something that is cruel, but it's not true. So maybe what you want to talk about, especially if you have your own platforms, or you just tend to love to dive deeper into things, I feel like you're gonna have quite an impactful video, a podcast, a message for people. It may not be received from everyone, because some people are taking it to heart to the point where they're overly sensitive to anything and everything. It's like someone is so upset because someone is not able to see the life for what it is. And it's not fluffy. So if you are a writer, for example, you may want to talk about deeper, darker things the next week, to shed the light on maybe something that has happened in the world that you feel has to be seen. Whoosh! This is a very interesting read, and I freaking love this. We have the karmic soul tribe, the family. For some of you, what you are noticing is whom you have a karmic lesson with, and it's going to be very visible. Next week we're going to have very visible. You'll be able to notice why you signed this contract with this other person, what you personally got to learn, and what they have to learn from you. So none of us is really bad. Say, for example, someone who constantly wants to prove that their way of thinking is the only way of thinking, and it triggers the fuck out of you. You go, but why are you so narrow-minded? Like, people come from different experiences. That's why we have different views and perspectives. And you keep, and there's no way, for example, for you to escape from this person. Say if this is someone who is in your family, you keep having to go for Christmas dinners with them or spend time with them during the holiday time. And some of you are making decision not to do that at all, but some of you are making a decision to tell this person everything that you thought about the way they lead their life and how, especially how it impacts other people. And you just put it out there on a table and you go, the way you speak or what you say or how you act, that's how it impacted me. And you leave it there. It's for them to think about it. Instead of being, you know what? You should stop doing this and start doing that. It's like you're telling someone what to do, right? Yes, a lot of us do that. But here you approach it from a slightly different angle. You go, that's how your actions impact me. And the other person goes, damn, like, I didn't know that. And they're able to express themselves differently. They're not as defensive anymore. Don't tell me what to do. You just stated the impact. So someone here is stating an impact that something or someone has, and it somehow allows a karmic cycle to be wrapped up with that particular person. Now I know what I had to do or how I had to approach it. Now I feel like I'm done. Like there is a sense of relief here. I cracked the code. I cracked the code. I don't know if this is you or someone else who's encountering a wake-up call here, big time. We have the Five of Pentacles and the Judgment. See the distress in both of these cards? I have to be in this situation in order to wake the fuck up. So either you are witnessing someone else's wake up, or you are going through this yourself. And specifically, I'm getting a lot of people are noticing how something was taken from them without their noticing. It doesn't have to be material, it's more so everything else but material. My sense of freedom, love was taken away from me. Therefore, I am how I am now. or a sense of accomplishment. Instead of someone saying congratulations, I'm really happy for you, they go, you could have done better. See what I mean? And by this wake-up call, or witnessing someone having this wake-up call here, we're able, there's like a door opening for you. Notice that. Something happens in one particular relationship in your life with someone the next week. You sort something out. Complete something with one person. And you're able to see how the energy and time you put into something that you wanted to grow, would it be your hobby, your job, you're becoming much more successful at that. And it's directly impacted by wrapping up a karmic cycle with someone else. Everything moves much more smoothly for me from now on. Everything is much easier for me. I don't have to fight the battle in order to get something. I'm not being held back. I'm not being held back because I was able to crack the code. Yeah, a lot of you are very focused on your spirituality, your sense of independence spiritually, and also financial freedom here. So this was like a story, one thing tied to another for pile number 3. Just observe your relationships next week and a half, okay? You'll be able, I split the deck just now, you'll be able to see exactly where that devil lies and what is this snake wrapping up around that goat, and that snake whispering something in the ear of that goat. That goat is not the goat anymore. It became something else, okay? So we're able to see the next week and a half, what was that snake for us? Hope this made sense. If you already know what this is, I would be glad to hear it if you want to share in the comments down below. And I hope you have a beautiful week. Bye for now. Until the next one. Ciao.